I don't know who hasn't caught on to this yet, but they're going to violate the ceasefire immediately after the TikTok ban, and then Meta is going to shut down pretty much all dissenting voices about it, and so is X. Any news coming out of Gaza? Shut down. Any talk of Gaza? Shut down. They're about to capitalize on the TikTok ban as much as humanly possible. Find your favorite way to disseminate information, I'm already there. It's not over until Palestine is free.
Israel says Hamas is backing out of the ceasefire agreement. Let me tell you what's really happening. And the truth is, the Israeli government is filled with a bunch of warmongering, psychopathic, bloodthirsty freaks. Because a majority of the government says they will not sign a ceasefire unless Netanyahu agrees they will continue bombing Gaza after 42 days. The ceasefire has 3 phases, each phase being 42 days. So they are saying they are not going to sign off on the ceasefire unless Netanyahu says he is going to break the ceasefire. And this is coming the day after the ceasefire was agreed upon. Israel increased their bombing campaign, killing over 75 people. Parts of the government have threatened to step down if this deal is signed. And if they step down, Netanyahu will no longer have majority in the government, which means Netanyahu is trying to figure out how to keep his alliance with America, keep his power in the government, and continuing killing kids in Gaza. Do not be fooled by these ridiculous antics where they're trying to blame it on Hamas. It hasn't been Hamas in the last year, and it's definitely not Hamas now. Keep in mind, Israel is already talking about breaking the ceasefire deal. So all those times in the past when people will say Hamas was the first one to break the ceasefire, look what's happening now.
Honestly, what does international law mean at this point? What does it mean that the same day a ceasefire is announced, Gaza faces one of its deadliest days? The same day that Western leaders are celebrating diplomacy and peace and solutions and clapping themselves on the back, Israel kills 80 Palestinians in one fucking day. And what does it mean that we knew this was going to happen? We knew they were going to ramp up the bombing campaign in the build-up to a ceasefire, because they do this in every single ceasefire agreement. Israel shouldn't exist. Point blank period. And anyone that defends this depravity is honestly fucking disgusting.
There's a lot of speculation on what Israel will and will not do in the coming days, but the one thing we know for sure is that Palestinians in Gaza are in desperate need of medical care. The medical tent doctors are centrally located and serving over 1,500 people on a daily basis and have been doing so for months. They were trusted to coordinate the WHO's delivery of polio vaccinations to over 100 children. Palestinians in Gaza need us to stand by their side now more than ever, and one way that we can do that is by providing them with adequate medical assistance. Palestinians in Gaza cannot rebuild if they are allowed to perish from disease and injury that are spreading without treatment throughout the Strip and threaten to be just as deadly as the occupation themselves. Go to the details, contribute whatever you can, my cat, and if you are not able to contribute any